for now, I'm not seeing anyone else joining. Okay, we have a bit more than 20 participants. I think we can wait 1 more minute for people to join. And I think we can start. So hello everyone, thank you for being present today for this joint webinar that will feature 3 European funded projects. The topic of the discussion will be around co-creation activities and stakeholder engagement, and the webinar will last 1 hour in total. When it comes to the agenda, we will have a little introduction of the 3 projects, so UNCHAIN, Zoom, and Ultimo. And then we will dive into the topic and we will have the project use case presentation and the discussion that will be moderated by UNCHAIN coordinator Elena. If you have a question, you can write them in the chat and we will discuss them later on. So to start maybe with UNCHAIN. UNCHAIN is a project with united 18 partners for more than 7 EU countries. It has started in May 2023 and will end in 2026, October. So it's a project of 42 months. And in the partners, we have delivery operators such as UPS and DHL because it's on sustainable urban logistics. So about the cities, we have more than 10 cities involved in the project. We have 3 living labs, including Madrid, Berlin, and Florence. And then we have 4 follower cities, Mechelen, Prague, Funchal, and Riga. And also peer cities, Reggio Emilia, Antwerp, Brest Metropole, Alba Giulia, and Great Manchester. So you can see it's quite diffused in Europe. So why UNCHAIN? The role of UNCHAIN is to unlock all the potentials for logistics services within the city with the aim to revolutionize or at least to improve urban logistics and to create sustainable, resilient and safer city. So what the project will do, it will develop data-driven city services to tackle common challenges that cities are facing, such as congestion, safety and environmental issues. The goal is also to empower decision-making with public-private partnerships and to improve operational efficiency on the ground. The role of UNCHAIN is to break down data silos and to foster the data exchange between the public and the private parties, and paving the way for sustainable urban logistics to help the cities anticipate the policy impacts and to work towards climate neutral and smart cities. In today's world, we have a lot of online shopping that has emerged with both an increasing demand for last mile delivery. And the role of UNCHAIN is to answer this issue and this fact to revolutionize urban logistics and to create sustainable, resilient and safer cities globally for all. The innovative thing also of UNCHAIN is to work on collaboration and to break the chains, as the name indicates. And with 10 cities on board, it aims to transform the way the cities manage logistics and space, integrating data from different sources. It will develop 12 data-driven city services, validated by each city, to tackle congestion, safety, and environmental challenges. So this will help cities anticipate the impacts of policy measures or reduce freight transport's impact on the urban fabric, and to work towards climate neutral and smart cities. Then we can go through the some presentation, and I'll leave Julia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you're not sharing it?
Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, it's back now.
Okay, great. Can you go to?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so some seamless shared your mobility is a project over 3 years funded by the EU. So the origin is that, of course, more than 70% out of the total kilometers traveled annually are in a private car. So the project aims to tackle the main barriers for shifting to new share modes, trying to combine them with public transport and to address the costs and the insecurity about the availability of these shared transports. So it will contribute to the mobility transformation in 15 European cities by 2026. We'll see there are 9 living labs and other observer cities, and 30 cities by 2030, because the scope of the project goes beyond the end of it next year. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's great. So just facts, it responds to the call Horizon Europe on accelerating the deployment of new and shared mobility services for the next decade. It will run until the end of May next year, and it includes 30 partners from 13 countries, both within and outside the EU, because there are also, there is also Switzerland and Israel outside the EU. The 9 living labs are Munich, Geneva, Jerusalem, Athens, Rotterdam, Krakow, Fredrikstad, Larnaca, and Coimbra. And today we will have the opportunity to have a look more into the activities of a couple of them. Here you see all the partners' logos, and the specific objective includes trying to improve the competitiveness of these new share modes, try to improve the infrastructure that allows their circulation in the cities, encourage travelers to use them through pricing incentives, evaluate, of course, the increase of their use before, during, and after the measures are implemented, to provide, of course, policy recommendations, and to ensure the sustainability of the results of the project. About these results, indeed, you can go to the next slide. So there are a couple of technical work packages that are developing technological tools about predicting the vehicles availability, the transportation availabilities, and how to combine, to improve on-demand modes, etc., etc. And these innovative tools are tested across the 9 living labs to assess their impact and to also collect community insights. So here, yeah, you have the detail about the technological breakthroughs that are developed within the project. And of course, project partners are doing their best to respond to risks in the implementation of those measures. And about co-creation activities, of course, then Tom will go more in depth about this, because indeed there is a participative approach with the local population in the living labs. So the aim is to really to monitor the progress of the increased use of NSM, to optimize systems, to make evidence-based decision at the level of the municipality, to increase inclusivity, and as said, also to produce some guidelines for other cities outside the scope of the project. This slide, yeah, you partners worked hard to really have state-of-the-art, let's say, of the situation in each living lab before the implementation of the measures, by defining very precisely all the KPIs, the needs, and the metrics, and also producing a kind of matrix called the Standardized Impact Evaluation Framework, which will allow to really measure the impact of the implemented measures, which are not just the technological tools, but are also push and pull measures tailored to the needs of each cities. And then one of the main outcomes of the project is the open data platform, which will provide cities outside the consortium with access to insights and best practices, and it will display the results in each living lab. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, already said something about engagement and co-creation. So as said, Tom will go more into deep in the discussion, but there are some workshops in a couple of living labs to discuss with the local population and other stakeholders adaptive street space, mobility hubs, and really trying to engage them as much as possible on the solutions that are best for the locals. And there are also several surveys that run through the project to assess the solutions and the user satisfaction. About dissemination, there have been several, more than 6 now, expert sessions with living labs discussing their solutions. And also there are observer cities already involved in the project. They are listed at the end of the slide, but there are also an extra one, Douro in Portugal, that also joined the Observer Cities Board. And many other activities took place in the dissemination aspect. We are also integrated with Civitas, of course. We try to, as much as possible, to join forces with sister projects, to do stakeholder mapping and business model ecosystems, and so many things going on there. Expected impacts. Yeah. There will be, of course, social, economical, political, and other types of impacts. And especially what we aim to is that this innovation will be useful for other cities. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Julia. So now I leave the floor to Zafeira from ZF Group so she can present Ultimo. I let you share your screen.
Yes, thank you. I see that I'm disabled from sharing, actually.
You should be able. That's weird.
Let me try again.
Yes.
Now I see that it says I'm able.
Okay.
All right. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Elisa, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Zafira Gyulu, and I'm working as a I see that the slides are moving faster than they should. Sorry for this.
You can, no worries, you can put them in big screen if you wish. Maybe it would be easier.
Yeah, okay. I
Now
will
we see them
like this, and let's see how it goes. Okay, yeah, maybe it's a good idea to like this instead. I don't know why, but now it should be better. So I will start over. My name is Zafira Gyulu, and I work as a program manager for on-demand mobility for ZF's orchestration platform Scalar. and I'm here today to represent Ultimo project on behalf of the project coordinators, in which we participate as fleet orchestrators at CDF. Ultimo project is about advancing sustainable, user-centric, on-demand mobility with automated vehicles. And it's a project of total duration of 4 years for now, and we are already in the 3rd year. The project is constituting by 23 partners from European Union and Switzerland, and is co-funded by European Union and the Swiss government. And the technical coordinators is DB Regiobus from Germany. The project has several objectives. I'm gonna mention the most relevant ones for the context of this webinar, which is the to validate integrated shared CCAM systems and services for people and goods across Europe, develop open source APIs for integration of vehicle providers and fleet management into mobility and logistics services, reach large-scale multi-vendor deployments in all sites using most adapted vehicle for each transport use case, provide automated passenger services and for safety and quality, improve interaction with road users and infrastructure for improved safety, and provide a realistic long-term transition for the deployment of automated vehicles in mobility and logistics services. And the Ultimo project is building on previous experience gained from previous predecessor projects, and at the same time is harvesting on the feasibility of on-demand operations with automated vehicles that we've seen both overseas and in smaller scale pilots in Europe, and the recent changes that we've seen in the legal framework within Europe for level 4 operations. And in this way, it sets the foundation to the mobility vision for the cities beyond 2030, where hundreds of automated vehicles can complement the public transport network with on-demand services, with the ability to cover large service areas with a lot of kilometers, and also the possibility for the PTOs, the public transport operators, to integrate several fleets in their systems and their services in order to provide an equally available to all people public transport covering all possible use cases. And vehicles can be deployed across the board through a valid business model, which is also, the validation of the business model is also part of the Ultimo scope. There are 3 sites, deployment sites in the Ultimo project: Herford in North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany, Bellide in Geneva, and Groruddalen in Oslo. All of these sites have engaged in co-creation activities with local stakeholders and allowing the end users of the services through surveys, workshops, and other discussion fora to actually co-develop the use cases and take their feedback into account. And today we are here with the Geneva site, which will be presented in more detail later on, and TPG's plan to replace human-driven vehicles with automated vehicles already early 2026. Also exploiting the new Swiss Road Traffic Act for allowing automated vehicles of level 3 and 4 on the roads. And Geneva is also one of the deployment sites where automated vehicles are going to be used for both mobility and logistics, goods transportation. We have already started working on the concept. It has already been developed. The idea is that the automated vehicles will be used for goods transportation when they are not used for mobility services. And this is a collaboration between TPG and OVO, a logistics provider, and ZDF is participating as fleet orchestrator, matching the demand with the vehicle supply. And a POC will start in summer, and it's already some co-creation of activities have taken place, and I will let Tepeje describe those in more details later on in the dedicated presentation. I think that's it for me right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this presentation. If you can stop sharing your screen.
Yes. Am I still sharing? Yes, okay, I'm stopping sharing now.
Okay, perfect, thank you. And now I leave the floor to Elena.
Yeah.
That will lead us to the use cases presentations.
Yeah, thank you, Sophia. Yeah, now we Elisa, sorry.
No worries.
Now we are going to go more in detail in three presentation of the three presentation of the three projects, two coming from UNCHAIN and one from some project and another one from multiple project. Starting from Mechelen, which is one of the follower city in the UNCHAIN logistic project. Please, Esme, if you could go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Elena. Thank you, Elisa. Hi, everyone. I'm Esme Hoof from the city of Mechelen, and I'll go into detail a bit about how we handle mainly stakeholder engagement in Mechelen and also within the UNCHAIN project. Next slide, please. Sorry. I'll be talking about our covenants that we have on sustainable urban logistics and also how we are pivoting towards also including stakeholder engagement in construction logistics within the UNCHAIN project. Yes, next slide. To give you a bit of context, we are a medium-sized city located in Belgium. We like to say that we are the beating heart of Flanders because we are well situated on the major urban and industrial axis between Brussels and Antwerp. And as you can see on the illustration on the right, we're also well connected with other cities in and around Belgium. We're not a big city. We have about 90,000 inhabitants and an area about 6,600 hectares. People like to visit our city. People like to live in our city. And that's why we can show beautiful pictures like this. Everyone wants to visit it. You can have nice drinks on our main square. You can have a shop. You have beautiful buildings which have to be, of course, maintained. But that also means that we have of course, logistics in our city. You can't go through it, Elisa. Yeah, so the drinks, and we have, of course, logistics. This is a site that maybe not everybody wants to show, but it's also important to keep our city running. That's why me and my colleagues, we focus on making urban logistics more sustainable and more efficient. And we do this, or we want to achieve a reduction in the number of vehicle movements, in the number of kilometers driven, in CO2 emissions, and also, of course, improve air quality. We do this with a top-down, bottom-up approach. You can click, Elisa. So we have measures that we test through pilot projects in the European projects. We want to create awareness about the subject. We want to gather and spread knowledge and expertise. And of course, from the top-down perspective, we also want to make policies. And today I'll give you a bit more insight on how we handle the two middle parts, the knowledge and expertise and awareness. Next slide. Yes. No, previous. Yeah. We started in 2014 with European projects, but it was really the start of working on logistics. The meetings were quite ad hoc, and we did have an organically grown stakeholder list, but we didn't have a lot of structure. The ad hoc meetings were mainly because of EU project objectives, and it was mainly about high-level brainstorming. This changed in 2019, where we had our first meetings. You can click through them, yeah. So in October 2019, we had our first meeting to really see with the sector itself, how can we consult you, how can we build a network, how can we inform you, how can we decide together with you what logistics in our city should look like. During this meeting, it was decided that we would have 2 meetings a year to really work on these 4 subjects. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we wanted to go from ad hoc meetings to really concrete actions. So we wanted to have the structural logistics stakeholder platform. During that first session, a lot was done. A clear horizon was set, and we also requested concrete commitment from the companies that were present at that meeting. We also did some improvisation exercises to get to know each other better, to really create that bond, so that we could, in the future, could work better together. And also we had a brainstorm as to think about what can we as a city of Mechelen, what can we do? And during that meeting, also the idea of a covenant came up to really write down these commitments, both from the side of the city, where we said, okay, these are our 8 action points, and also from the side of the companies, where they could write down concrete actions that they were willing to take in this covenant. Next slide. Yeah. So this is our covenant. In 2019, we had about 29 signatures. It was mainly the logistics companies, interest groups, and traders. You can see on the left, for example, GLS, DPD, FedEx, they signed the covenant as well. And right now, I think we have about 37 signatures in total. So it's continuously growing. The goal we set within this covenant was to have zero emission logistics by 2030 in our inner city. So if you scan the QR code, you can see it. Yes, next slide. You can see here the moment where everyone signed it. It was during COVID, so everyone was very far apart. And then the next slide. We also wanted to have the structural meetings going, and we do that in the form of a zero emission working group. So as I said before, we meet 2 times a year, where we inform the participants and the people who signed the covenant about policies from our city. We introduce new signatories, or someone speaks from their own perspective about their company or their process. We focus on one of the 8 action points, often in combination with a workshop. And of course, we chat and network over lunch to keep the bond going. However, as you can see here, the covenant was focused on e-commerce and the deliveries of goods to shops, restaurants, cooled goods, a big part already. But construction logistics, waste logistics, and service flows were not included in the covenant. But we see in research, next slide, that construction logistics is a big part of the traffic going in and out our city, about 37%. Next slide, please. And it has an impact on livability, accessibility, all the things listed here. You can see other research shows as well that construction logistics is just a really big part. But for us, it was difficult to start looking into it because we didn't have connections with the sector. I'm in the mobility department, so we come into contact with them sometimes, but it was really looking for context, creating a list of stakeholders. And within UNCHAIN, we have the opportunity to explore this further. So within UNCHAIN, we focus specifically on construction logistics. Next slide, please. So the main things that we have done in the last few months, actually, we have created a survey, and we organized 2 workshops with the construction sector to really focus on what are the problems today, what are the struggles, what are you struggling with building in our city, and of course, how can we look towards the future and create new opportunities to make logistics more sustainable, more safe, more efficient. And we want to use this data that we got from the 26 respondents to the survey and the 20 participants at the workshops to create an addendum to our covenant, because it is a living and breathing document. It's growing, and it's also important to look at the logistics flow that we have not yet included, but see also how we can make them more sustainable. So to conclude, last slide, please. Why a covenant? Why are we working on it? Because of course, as a city, we have our own goals. We want to create a sustainable city, want to have a safe city, an accessible, a livable city, and the sector itself, depending on the flow, it differs a bit, but they of course look more towards also the efficiency, planning and time, and cost control. And with the stakeholder engagement, with the covenant, we really want to see how can we create a win-win, where do our goals align, and we write them down in the covenant. We have the meetings, and we keep the conversation going to see how we can make our city more livable, more sustainable, and better towards the future. So that was a brief introduction to the stakeholder engagement in Mechelen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esme. Now maybe leaving the floor to Zafira again for the Geneva Living Lab from Ultimo and Ultimo.
I think it's Miriam.
It's Miriam, sorry. Yeah.
No worries. Hi, everyone. So I'm Miriam Ries, and I work at TPG, Geneva's public transport operator. Do you see my screen? All good?
Yes, we do. All good, please.
Great. So I'm here today as part of the SUN project, representing the Geneva Living Lab. Let me start with a few words about Geneva and TPG. So Geneva is Switzerland's second largest urban area, with around 500,000 residents in the canton and nearly 1 million in the Greater Geneva area, which also includes neighboring French territory. And the canton of Geneva is highly urbanized and strongly committed to sustainable mobility. TPG, Geneva's public transport operator, is a key player in this effort, operating an extensive network of trams, buses, and trolleybuses with around 600,000 passengers per day. One of Geneva Living Lab's tasks within the SUN project is to foster the physical integration of NSM, new shared modes, and public transport services by implementing mobility hubs. Mobility hubs are strategically located multimodal points of convergence that provide seamless access to a range of transportation options, including public transportation, of course, but also shared bikes, car sharing, and cycling infrastructure. They are designed to facilitate efficient transfers, promote sustainable travel choices, and enhance the overall accessibility to of the urban transport network. Since the beginning of the project of SUN, we've deployed 10 mobility hubs over the territory, each offering a minimum of bicycle sharing facility and public transportation access across a range of territorial settings, such as high-density urban zones, residential districts, and also key strategic nodes, such as the Geneva Airport here. To make this project a reality, we collaborate across all levels, from federal to local authorities, as well as with mobility service providers on the ground. Each plays a key role: planning, strategic planning, coordination, implementation, and service delivery. At local level, we collaborate closely with our city, in order to select and implement mobility hubs locations. Co-creation involves direct engagement with citizens and local stakeholders through surveys on acceptance, needs, and expectations that we run within the SUN project. In addition to public consultations and customers' interviews, we also proceed to include close collaboration with local service providers to ensure that hubs provide a wide range of services that are tailored to users' mobility habits. At regional level, so continental level in Switzerland, we collaborate closely with the canton. This is our public transport authority, which actively supports this initiative through various multi-year action plans focusing on active mobility, freight transportation, and public transit that you see on the left. And the canton also played a key role in shaping the visual identity of the mobility hubs, especially through the co-design of signage and totems here, ensuring visual consistency and usability across the territory. Finally, at national level, there is a clear goal to standardize traveler information throughout Switzerland for shared and sustainable mobility. Recent workshops have brought together several Swiss cities, including Geneva, to co-develop a unifying signage system. And this collective effort aims to harmonize mobility symbols and language to offer clear, consistent information to users nationwide. So the images you see show the design process, including involving pictograms and prototype totems on the right, to be used at future mobility hubs across the country. That's it for me. Thank you for your attention. I'll be pleased to answer your questions. But first, I will hand over the floor to Mathieu Scherer, who is in charge of the Ultimo project at TPG with Safira on the left side.
Yeah, please. It is supposed to be Madrid right now, but it's possible. I don't mind if Frederick started from the SAM project to go ahead.
It's
the second part. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Madrid, no worries. Madrid will come after.
Is Mathieu with us?
Yeah. Hello?
No,
Yes.
it's a second part of the Ultimo presentation. It's a different person, but the same project.
Mathieu, we can't hear you.
Writing. We cannot hear you.
Safira, should you step in, just in case, not to lose too much time? And Mathieu can join you.
Sure, I can step in. So I'm not sure I will be able to cover all parts of the presentation, but as I also said in my introduction, the deployment in Geneva in Ultimo project involves the automated transportation of both people and goods. And here we have actually created a video to show you how exactly such a combination of goods and people transportation can work in practice. So you will see the flow actually of switching from people to goods in this video, which is a quite accurate description of the use case, I think. It's already displayed. Here we see how the autonomous vehicle picks up passengers, drops them off to their destination, and then, according to the planning that is facilitated by the fleet orchestrator, the vehicle can switch to goods transportation. The actors in the goods industry can place their orders online exactly the same way as passengers do, and they can follow live where the vehicle is and where their order arrives, so that they can be ready to pick it up. And at the same time, the operator can also follow all these automated events in their dashboard that would look something like this. So everybody knows at any time where the vehicle is and when it is arriving. And here we see also how it can look with the offloading and unloading on the mobility hubs that are also used as shared with goods hubs. And now the vehicle has finished with the mission to deliver some goods and can go back to parking. and then it can be again available for no, sorry, we missed this this part, which is actually how the vehicle can work as a nano hub, basically, and then cargo baggers can take over with the last mile deliveries, split into several distribution points. And again, the vehicle can go back to the shifts that are available for people transportation and start transporting in the peak hour of public transport passengers again. So that's the main use case that is being
Zafira,
developed.
sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, Zafira, thank you.
No worries. Yeah, feel free to take over again.
Thank you. So as Zafira told us, we want to mix the passengers transport and the goods transport. And how we do it is how you saw it with the video. And now about co-creation, we had an event with all actors from Geneva. I mean, actors from the logistics, the public transport, and some private actors, and also the Swiss authorities. And we show them our projects. We show them the vehicles and the one we plan to have in the future. And they gave us the feedback, and many of them were willing to participate in the project. It's a good thing for us because it allows us to develop our services in the right direction. Also, we have other events. It's not for logistics, but it's the same idea. We want citizens in Geneva to participate in our project, and so we did a hackathon during which students from the University of Geneva had to design an interface to communicate with the AVs. So you have a link to this hackathon if you want to see more and see what they did. And that's it. Thank you. Sorry again.
No worry, thanks. Now is the turn of Madrid. Please, María Eugenia, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, good morning. My name is María Eugenia Martinez from the Madrid City Council, and I'm very pleased to present today our participation in the UNCHAIN project. Next slide, please. First, I will start by providing a little bit of context of Madrid logistics and the Madrid cluster. Well, in Madrid, urban freight is very important sector. It generates around 6% of the total GDP. And it is essential for the city running, but also it is creating many challenges. We are seeing rising demand for deliveries, limited curbside. Just some data in Madrid, the freight accounts for 11% of the total circulating fleet, and 70% of the accidents are involve freight activity. 21% of the pollution that comes from the road transport comes from freight activity, and 20% of the congestion of the city congestion, and also with significant issues of parking and discipline, come also from freight activities. So it is necessary to work on solving these problems, and the added value of UNCHAIN is that we are co-designing these solutions, bringing together technology, governance, and trusted data sharing to create a more efficient, sustainable, and integrated urban freight. The partners involved, it is the previous, okay. The partners involved in Madrid are the City Council, EMT, which is the public transport operator, ETRA and VMZ as technology developers, DHL as a logistic operator, and also universities and research partners. As I said, the key element of our approach is co-design. All the services we are testing have been jointly developed by public authorities, logistics operators, technology developers, and researchers. So this way we ensure that each solution is technically feasible, it is operationally useful, and it is fully aligned with our city mobility policies and our citizens' needs. And this co-design process depends heavily on the reliable data. And for this, UNCHAIN has implemented a secure and interoperable data exchange ecosystem that is built on the International Data Space Association, or ITSA, and framework. And each stakeholder, as I said, public authorities, logistic companies, etc., will have full ownership of their data, but at the same time, this platform will enable safe, rule-based sharing of the information. And this trusted framework allows us to collaborate and across all the sectors and develop the different cares, while also respecting privacy and security and governance. Next slide, please. So in this slide, you can see the system of urban delivery of goods in Madrid. It relies on large logistic centers that are situated on the city's outskirts to handle freight. And these centers consolidate the goods, and then they transport it into the city, causing congestion and pollution with big trucks. And the model that we want to implement is the micro-hub model that offers a much more efficient solution by creating smaller logistic hubs closer to delivery destinations. We consolidate deliveries and use smaller, more sustainable vehicles for last mile operations. Next slide. And for precisely for this, the first service that we are developing is Care4, which is helping us to identify strategic locations for this micro-hub network. Care4 is a planning tool that identifies the best locations for micro-hubs across the entire municipality of Madrid. It combines this mapping with socio-demographic data, freight flows, and infrastructure data as well, and generates heat maps that will show where the new logistic hubs will have the greatest impact. The tool will help us to balance operational efficiency and emissions reduction. The key actors that are involved are VMZ, who is developing the software, the city council that is providing the data on traffic patterns and socioeconomic and infrastructure data, and DHL that will be also a data provider and is contributing to providing operational insights on logistics. Next slide. Well, here is the ClickLog platform that this care is based on, and it uses OpenStreetMap, and it combines multiple data layers that will allow us to test or simulate different planning scenarios. So this flexibility makes it easier to adapt to different freight patterns and ensure that the tool will remain useful over the time. Next slide. Care8 focuses on one of the bottlenecks of logistics in all big cities, especially in cities like Madrid that are compact, and we have limited public space and limited curbside space. And the objective is to introduce a flexible and dynamic parking management in one of our districts in the south, Villaverde, and the core functionality of Care8 lies in the ability to assign parking spaces dynamically based on the demand that we have observed, and including logistics, including several uses, logistics, school drop-offs and pickup, parking for people with reduced mobility, and general use for neighbors and for visitors. This care has three main objectives: to improve rotation, facilitate urban logistics, and also to monitor how this flexibility and dynamic management works. The stakeholders involved are ETRA, who is developing the service, Madrid City Council, and DHL. And we have, next slide, please.
Yeah, just Maria Eugenia, if I can ask you to just go a bit quicker, because we are running a bit out of time.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know, sorry. Next slide. Well, here you have the digital device. We will install 8 posts showing different variable signs and digital signs. And we will use also IoT sensors to test how the system is working. The street that we have selected is one of the most pressured by logistics uses and also mixed uses. We have had a contact with the district to design the pilot. And also one of the challenges here is that our regulatory framework does not allow this kind of flexibility. So to test this, we had to organize different meetings with the different departments in the city, and we have approved a sandbox, a regulatory sandbox that will allow us to do like an ad hoc regulatory system to test this service. So for the case of co-creation, it's very important that we have engaged with the policy developers and to test this. Well, the next care is the managing peak delivery periods by implementing a delivery temporary delivery places. We will test this with DHL, and we will use the same location as Care 8. And here, DHL is sharing with us all the data that they have, the historic data, and in order to do or to plan the care that we will test later in October. Next slide, please. To deal with congestion, we are also doing or testing a route planning system. Route planning is not a novelty. We have a lot of them, but the added value here is that we are introducing also vulnerable zones, low emission zones. So you will be able to optimize the route. The operator will be able to optimize the route, taking into account the sustainability limitations and the safest route. We are working with this with DHL in Florence and Berlin. They are testing this with cargo bikes. But in the case of Madrid, the operator does not have cargo bikes or not use it. So we will test it with an electric van. And we are developing it right now. One of the challenges here is that we don't have real traffic data. So we are in collaboration with the IT system, the IT department, to get the data of traffic incidents and try to implement the pilot. Next slide. And well, right now we have a smart management system in Madrid to manage loading and unloading, but it is one of the flaws that it has is that you cannot book a space in advance because we don't have cameras, and so the application is one of the challenges is this. And with this pilot, we will test a new service that will allow to book in advance with cameras that we will install in one of the EMT underground facilities. We will be able to test that the use is okay, and for this we are collaborating with EMT, which is the public transport operator, and they are the responsible for this care, and we will start testing it by late summer, I would say. And that's all that I have for now. Thank you.
Thanks.
And now, even though we are a bit run out of time, we will give the floor to the last presentation.
Yeah, I will be quite quick. Thank you, everyone. I will talk about co-creation in Fredrikstad and how we did it. You can just go to the slide 6, where we have a picture of the ferry. Thank you. First of all, I have to say that this hasn't been an easy task for Fredrikstad first when we started it. So I'm very, very glad that we had help from our friends from Chalmers University of Technology in Gothenburg, design and human factors, from doctoral student X UNCHAIN and head of division Pontus Wahlgren. It hasn't been possible for us to do this without them. So it's important for me to highlight that as well before I start. Well, co-creation in Fredrikstad is more than just a tool. It's a mindset. We believe that the people who live and move in the city should also help us shape how it works. That's why we invited citizens, service providers, planners, and even researchers to join us in designing better mobility services, because we have all the data in the world, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't do anything with it. So we need to talk to people. That's why we invited everyone to the table to discuss different ideas that they had. So you can move to the slide 8 first. So first off, we started with the first workshop spring 2024 to figure out how we would shape the next workshop. So this was the test workshop. And if you go to slide 9, here we can see that we invited stakeholders and those who were using a test route that we were testing with this hike ferry between a river between 2 riverbeds in Fredrikstad. So we invited the citizens to use yarn to show us where they were traveling today and how they could travel after they were using the new ferry route. So with the help from Chalmers, we managed to get valuable insight in how people travel and how they could be traveling after implementing new mobility services. And related to that, if you go to slide number 11, we had a elicitation and enactment service ideation workshop, where we were not aiming to implement everything right away when we had ideas. Instead, we were testing and evaluating that work. So we do that live during the workshop in small steps. For example, can a certain idea improve the experience of taking a shared trip that includes a ferry? How does it change how attractive or seamless the journey feels? So it's important that we have real insights for those who actively uses the services or those who think will use the services. So we need to invite people that live in the local area where we are supposed to implement, for example, under service. So what co-creation gives us is real insight, not assumption, not predictions, but genuine feedback from the people who will use these services. So that is very important to have in consideration before we plan this. As you can see, we had some live testing. It was quite funny because some of the ideas was testing on the streets to see how could it look like. So we did some mimics to kind of show the services how it could be and talk about it afterwards. And the idea was rated to, so we had some ideas was winning and some ideas was not winning, but it was a very, very fun process and very valuable for those who participated as well. And as a municipality, we learned a lot during this process. All that helped with the help from Chalmers University in Gothenburg and our friends there. So so the insight we have from co-creation is that we have to evaluate the ideas and figure out how we can shape the future of the mobility in the city. So in order to do that, we need to look at our plans, look at the insight based on what we have get from those we invited to the workshop and see, does it fit? Is there anything here we have to change? Thank you. You can go to the slide all the way down to next stop. The last slide, please. Yeah, we had several proposals that came during the workshop and the workshops. So if anyone is interested to hear more about it or want to see some insight, please reach out and we will share it with you. Next up for Fredrikstad is the Water Metro Conference, 9th and 10th of September in Fredrikstad, where we also will share ideas on how we can shape the future of water-based mobility in this city and other cities across Europe. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much to all of you. Very, very interesting presentation for all of them. And I think the three projects are working hard on improvement logistics. Also, it has been raised the relevance or how important is the stakeholder engagement to participate all together to move towards the same objective. The co-creation activities held in the three projects has been of great value because, as you are saying, having all the stakeholders involved will make to move towards the same objective and not lose the time. So I think we should close the meeting because we don't have time for having more questions or more comments. Thanks to all of you. Elisa, if you would like to
thank you
say
very much. And unfortunately, we cannot go forward with the Q&A, but if you have some questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. So we put my email here, and we will put you in contact with the people in the project so you can have the answer to all your questions. Thank you very much to all and have a very nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.